this is where the magic happens, right? Like where you guys are sitting right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Mike, you have your green screen, and then Steve, you're in that room. But usually you have a green screen on your chair?
Yeah, I have just one of them cheap green screens on the back of my chair.
Yeah.
And then obviously we project the RP show background onto that.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there. We've got actually a really good workflow going, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty
because,
good now.
we don't use any particularly obviously we're doing all this out of our own pockets. We're doing all this in our own time, so we don't have masses of technology and stuff like that. We just use Zoom. We record our session, and it works better when we go off the cuff. And just record certain things, and we go, that was really good, and we might set out to say something, and then as we're saying it, it feels really long-winded, and like, man, this episode's gonna be like 4 hours long. So then we have to do a bit of, maybe do a couple of retakes, and usually Mike will do the screen record, and then Mike does a lot of the. We kind of got a good division of labour, I think, because we have an idea for a show. We may have scripted it out the week before and have the sort of wireframe of what we want to discuss. And then we'll do the show. Sometimes extra things pop up just in the creative process. And then that's fine, and we do all that sort of stuff. And then once we finish, we try and record in bite-sized chunks. So let's say one we did recently, we did, I think it was like the 10 dumbest things science people have said to us. And we did each one of them as 10 separate recordings. So we recorded number 1, then paused it, then recorded number 2, then paused it. Mike does a really good job of, he chunks up all them recordings and he uploads them all into our shared drive. He's in America, obviously I'm in the UK. He labels them all up. This is, section 1, section 2, this is the start, this is the end.
Yeah,
he labels them all up and puts them in that drive. And then he gives me the nod when they're all ready, because I do the editing. So then I'm over here in the UK, and once Mike's labelled everything, got everything good to go, he gives me the nod. I then just transfer all those files straight into my Mac. I just use iMovie, nothing fancy like Final Cut, anything like that. I'm just straight into iMovie. I've got a bit of a template that we use each week, and I just upload them in and start editing. And then Mike gives me quite a bit of creative license. He doesn't ever review the final draft. He's just like, just upload it.
Yeah, I try to trust you. Yeah,
I know what I said. He just gives me full trust just to so that's when I sometimes mess about, tweak Mike's voice, or, do the little outtakes and stuff, so, and that's it, that's the process, and it works. I'm still amazed, I work as a project manager in the telecoms sector, and quite often I come under pressure to travel an hour and a half into the city to go to like a meeting or a collaboration session, and there are certain older people in the workforce that are like, oh no, we need to do this face to face, and I'm like, do you realise that I'm severely visually impaired, and I create video content on YouTube and T-shirts with another guy who's also visually impaired, and we've never had to do that face to face. But you want me to come to an hour and a half to you in the city to discuss this spreadsheet, which has got nothing majorly difficult to collaborate on. It's a spreadsheet about some technical spec. It's so it's amazing to me. I love it.
It's just so he looks good to his boss. That's it, basically.
Yeah. So I'm really, me and Mike talk about this all the time. We're kind of in awe. We're in our 40s, and you think to yourself, God, 10 years ago this wouldn't have been possible. When I was your age, Lance, I could not. We would not be able to do this. It just wasn't. It wasn't physically possible for me to share and stream whilst editing a video real time to Mike in America. It's amazing. I love it.
But I think that's neat, and I think that's cool. Like the fact that you both have no experience in video production and you're this kind of content creation, and you're just
you couldn't tell that from the show?
Then you just do it, and then you do a season, 2 seasons. You're covering wide topics, all done remotely, internationally. I think it's impressive.
T-shirts, and we have all that stuff. We've done a lot. I was reflecting on that recently myself. Just like the all the stuff that Steve and I have done this year has been like crazy, and it's only like we just started really.